Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Narita Miller, and if you're new here, welcome. Feel free to hit that subscribe button and don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you know when I post another video. So guys, I recently posted the video about our Christmas story. Like, what does Christmas mean? Let's refocus how we see Christmas and celebrate it. While there's nothing wrong with celebrating Christmas with gifts and food and celebrations and all that, but to refocus why we celebrate it. Why? What's the reason we do this? Why are we celebrating? What are we doing, people? But along with the story of Christmas is also the story of the three kings, and not just the history of the three kings, but why they had such an essential role in the story of Jesus truly from the get-go is what a lot of people don't know, and the traditions that come with it. Now guys, I'm from Puerto Rico, and when it comes to the Three Kings Day, parentheses, also known as the Three Wise Men or the Magi, or as we say in Spanish, El Día de los Reyes Magos, that day is celebrated big. If Three Kings Day falls during the week, you ain't going to school, you ain't going to work. Like, some people do have to work, but like the kids are celebrating. There's parades in a lot of places, there's activities, there's festivities, and guess what? There's still gift giving. So although Christmas passed and we did gift giving, sometimes they do it on the 24th, right? Nochebuena. There's gift givings on Three Kings, and sometimes it's like, oh, I have a gift for you, but I'm gonna give it to you on Three Kings, you know, or hey, I have this gift for you today for Christmas, but I have something else to give you on Three Kings. And it's not just the gift, guys. There's a whole tradition that comes with it. The parents would go outside and get some dry grass or some hay or something and put it in a shoebox, and then they'll leave like something, or maybe some dirt, or maybe not dirt, grass or something, to leave like a false trail to pretend that the camels had come in the house. So it's pretty similar how people leave cookies and milk for Santa, and some families may leave a trail of the cookie crumbs to pretend that the reindeer or Santa left a trail behind. But in the Hispanic Puerto Rican tradition with Three Kings, they'll do that similar thing but with hay or grass to symbolize that the three kings on their camels passed through the house. They ate the grass or the hay and they left gifts. And this is all going back to the story of Jesus, because see, when Jesus was born, there were three wise men. In some translations, it'll say three Magi or the three kings, right? Well, these men had such an essential role in the story of Jesus because at the time there was a king. His name was Herod, and he wanted to destroy Jesus. And eventually, he wanted to trick or use the three kings to tell him where baby Jesus was because he wanted to destroy him. But that's not all, folks. That's not where the story ends up. Allow me a few moments just to share with you the story. So we're going to go to the Bible, and apologize if I'm looking down. It's because I'm going to read it from the Bible app. So if you go with me to the book of Matthew chapter 2. Oh, it's there, honey. Okay, so I'm going to try to read through this as brief as possible, and I'm going to explain to you some parts. So tag along. Don't go anywhere yet. Check this out. So the Magi visit the Messiah, okay? You may see in your translation, if it's different, it's going to say the three wise men. Same thing, Magi means that, the three wise men. So guys, I'm so excited to share this. So after Jesus was born in Bethlehem in Judea, during that time of King Herod, I spoke to you guys about, the Magi, the three wise men, from the east came to Jerusalem and asked, "Where is the one who has been born King of the Jews?" They're referring to Jesus. "We saw his star when it rose and have come to worship." So there was a star that rose that would guide these three wise men to where Jesus was over in Bethlehem, okay? Because they wanted to see the king, which was Jesus. And then it says they wanted to worship with bringing him offering, which was the gifts. So verse 3, when King Herod heard this, he was disturbed, okay? This king, he didn't want a king over him. He didn't want to know there was a king born, that there was a Messiah, that there was a fulfilled promise. He didn't want that. He was the king at the time. So in reality, while right now in the beginning of the story it sounds innocent, but later on you'll see, guys, let me not give it all away. You'll see he actually wanted to be sneaky and destroy Jesus. So when King Herod heard this, he was disturbed, and all Jerusalem with. So when he had called together all the people, the chief priests and teachers of the law, he asked them where the Messiah was to be born. In Bethlehem, in Judea, they replied, for this is what the prophet has written. Verse 6, but you, Bethlehem, in the land of Judea, are by no means least among the rulers of Judea, for out you will come a ruler who will shepherd my people Israel. Check this out. Then Herod called the Magi, the three wise men, because he knew that the three wise men had stated a few verses back that they saw the star. So he called them over. He's like, hey, and this is where we are. They went, hey, then Herod called the Magi secretly and found out from them exact time the star had appeared. So they told him the time that the star had appeared. He sent them to Bethlehem and said, go and search carefully for the child. As soon as you find him, report it to me so that I too may go and worship. Oh, really? You really trying to go to worship the king? Oh, really? Check this out. No one can stop the plan of God in your life. All right, so verse 9. After they had heard the king, they went on their way, and the star they had seen when it rose went ahead of them until it stopped over the place where it was. When they saw the star, they were overjoyed. On coming to the house, they saw the child with his mother Mary. Okay, referring to baby Jesus. And they bowed down and worshiped. See, the three wise men bowed down to this child, to this baby, because they recognized he was baby Jesus. He was the Messiah, our Savior. So they went in worship to God, bowed to him, and then they opened their treasures and presented him with gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Now these three are high value gifts. In those times, it's not like they had gifts like Apple Watch or a bag or Gucci or whatever, but these essences, frankincense, myrrh, and gold are very, very high value. So they're bearing high value gifts to the king because they recognize who this was. And having been warned in a dream not to go back Herod, they returned to their country by another route. So remember earlier when we saw that Herod told them, hey, when you see that star that guides you to the child, let me know. Come back and let me know where the child is so that I too can also go and worship him. But the night that they went to see Jesus and they found him, they worshiped him, they brought him gifts, they had a dream. And through this dream that was revealed to them, they knew not to go back to Herod to tell him where Jesus was, because they found out that Herod actually wanted to destroy baby Jesus, not to go worship. So it was a plan as an attack against Jesus. So when the three wise men left, they took a different route home so that they could bypass Herod and not have to show him where Jesus was. So imagine the impact that these three wise men literally, and thank God for revelation for not telling Herod, because the plan of God is so good. When God has a plan for your life, when God has a plan, he will not allow nothing or no one to stop it. And he will protect you and work on your behalf and speak for you on your behalf. You will be surprised. God works in mysterious ways, mysterious to us, not too mysterious for him. And so then there is the story of the three wise men. And why the camels, you say? Is because in those days, that's how they traveled. With donkey, with camels. So when the three wise men traveled, they would walk there. And then now it builds to this tradition in the Caribbean. Maybe think Puerto Rico. I don't know what other Caribbean place do it. I think Dominican Republic, maybe Cuba does it too. And other in South America may do it a little bit different, to have a different version. But let me tell you, in Puerto Rico, this is a big, big deal. They may not celebrate Santa like that. It's not too common, not popular, but they really go with the story of Jesus and the three wise kings, or the three wise men. So guys, the reason why I specify each name is because if you open your Bible and you see it titled differently, I don't want you to get confused or think that I'm sharing to you something different. It's because in different versions or translations of the Bible, they use a different name, but it means the same thing. So there is that, okay? And if the video looks different, I had to continue recording on a different device because my camera was giving me issues, okay? I appreciate you watching. Now, this is why in our Hispanic community, in our culture, the Day of the Three Kings is such a big deal. And now my personal story with this, when I was a child, and we first moved from Puerto Rico here to Florida, although I was maybe like 4 or 5 years old, it was one of those very early, I remember, it's a faint memory, but I remember, I overheard our parents talk about it, but then I kind of saw my mom trying to do the whole grass thing, and then she showed us the tradition as kids growing up, and she spoke to us about it and how they do it in Puerto Rico. And the reason why it maybe, I mean, it was good, it was sweet, but it was kind of I don't want to say a fail. She didn't try to involve us in another year, involve us in the process of getting hay. Some parents do that. It's like, hey, let's go to the grass to put hay for the camel. Guys, then the parent in the middle of the would go and take some hay so that in the morning the kid thinks, oh my gosh, the camels ate the hay, right? It's the whole thing. So I don't want to say it was a fail, but it kind of was just because we knew, so we didn't really fully do the tradition. My mom did try, God bless her, like she would bring us, and one year with some kids that were our neighbors, and they were also, you know, very familiar with the tradition, we went to get hay. But because it wasn't really enforced here in the United States or in Florida per se, specifically where I live, then it wasn't really kept up. You know, here in the United States, we don't really that, or it being made a deal to celebrate, to leave out hay for the camels, Three Kings celebration. Like I'm at work for Three Kings, you know what I mean? Like we're working, it's not a big deal. But in Puerto Rico, it is a huge deal. So yes, the Three Kings celebration is a true Hispanic tradition, but it's also based on the Bible. So I kind of like it more because it's historical, but it's also biblical, and it plays a role in the story of Jesus, which gives it such a more nicer essence. It just makes it more purposeful and intentional, and just brings like so much more joy. And Santa, it's like, you know, it's not a thing. We don't celebrate Santa. We celebrate Jesus. And that's our tradition and the story behind the celebration of the Three Kings and how they had such a big part in the story of Jesus. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Put a comment below if you like. And if you haven't already subscribed, what are you waiting for? Thank you so much for watching. And guys, stay tuned for our next video. Don't forget, you can chat with me in the community post. And thank you so much for watching. Until the next video, tag along, stay well, be blessed. Love you guys. God bless.